and that kind of hit, and then the company got kind of scared. It was an American company, they had a company in America, and then they had the UK branch, obviously I was working at, and they went to shut it down. So it's like, wait a minute, I've got no control. You feel you ain't got no control. Yeah, we've got a redundancy, you know, your redundancy package or whatever, but it's like, okay, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
It was that type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I remember my car stuff I had to pay for and whatever, and you're like, and then that's when you have to start seeing, you know, the character in yourself. Okay, what do I want to get into next? And the one thing that always resonated with me was people used to say to me, actually, you'd be good working with children.
Yeah.
Good working with kids. I don't know if maybe they've seen me in certain situations with kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And quite a few of my family, my auntie, I think she's a baroness, and she's like been a governor of like 3 primary schools and stuff like that. And I just like went and started working with her for a little bit in one of the primary schools and so forth. You know, just to get a job kind of ticking over, even though I had my redundancy. And you know, I was good at this. I thought I was good at this, especially like little kids. But then, you know what I mean? And she enjoyed me being there, and I know she wanted me to stay, but I kind of wanted to grow as in I wanted to work with older kids. So secondary school came calling.
Yeah.
You know.
And do you feel? Well, we'll go into it because I have my view. Yeah, knowing you over the years. Yeah. I have my view of things. Yeah. In terms of the school and stuff. Yeah. Not controversial, don't worry about that. You don't worry. So, when did you start working in education?
I probably started working in education. When would that have been? Maybe was it 2009 or it might be 2008, 2009. Yeah. In fact, to tell a lie, I actually went to work in a Peru in Peckham. Right. And this Peru in Peckham is where my mum worked doing accounts. Right. So she told me, why don't you come, because there's a position, there's like a little admin thing, you know what I mean? It was just like, let me just grab any kind of job going. So admin job, you know what I mean? It was within the Peru. And it was cool, and this is a Peru where the doors have to be locked because the kids are frying chairs and, you know what I mean, wilding out and all that kind of things, you know what I mean? I was like, you know, but it was an enjoyable experience, and I remember it, you know what I mean, with nothing but joy, to be honest with you. And obviously, for me working in admin, I got to know the kids and so forth, and it's that connection with kids, you know what I mean? Because then I'd do my admin stuff, but then I'd go and play football with them, and, you know, and so forth, or the little trip, and, you know, the principal would want me to go out with them as well, because they could see that, you know. Yeah. And I think because, I don't know how I'm at 20 something or whatever, but a black guy, you know, if you're being an example, role model to them, you know what I mean? You know, that's what a lot of these kids kind of need, you know what I mean? You don't have to be the street man and so forth, and I just came out of prison and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You don't have to have those type of experiences to be influence in individual life.
What they tend to always think.
You know, that's not you know, that's not where I'm coming from and so forth. So, you know, that was my thing. And even when I was there working at admin, you know what I mean, I make sure that I'm on point, even the way I put myself together and so forth. And you know, you can see that you're being the same way how that person was in my life when I was younger influenced me, and those little things that I picked up. It's the same way that I know those young ones will look at me in a certain way and they'll remember, you know. So that's when I started getting into it. And then even then, they came to a point where I was just doing admin, and then they were doing like cutbacks. But this time for me, it was like, I was like a bit more not blasé with it. I was a bit more prepared, so to speak, because I've already experienced a big, you know, redundancy thing before. So it wasn't, you know, because the first time was a bit much. I remember losing weight and everything. Whoa. Man, I wasn't really eating because you're thinking, I've got to pay back this because this and that and so forth, because you got comfortable, you know what I mean? Yeah. But sometimes these experiences help to kind of shape you and so forth, you know what I mean? And so that happened, and then I remember just kind of, okay, let me see, going through an agency and so forth, and met some person who used to work in a school, and I said, let me just give you a CV and whatever, and next minute I ended up working where I am now.
You've been there for how long now?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years. never any intention of being here that long. But my thing was just to come maybe do, if that, maybe a year or so, and then going back into the private sector, go back into the engine, work up in the city. That was the whole ultimate plan. But I've enjoyed working in because of the impact and the, I don't know, just the end result that you can get out of these kids. Because remember, when you see them coming from year 7 and then they grow up into year 11 and they leave and so forth, that impact is unmeasurable, you know?
So you became like a head of year, right?
Yeah, so first of all, when I got to the school, I was working with those kids who were in danger of being kicked out of school. That's what the principal brought me in for. The deputy principal brought me in for those ones. So I had my own tutor group with those ones who were in danger of being kicked out, all the troublesome kids and so forth. And, you know, I think we should be try tricky, but it wasn't. It was, you know, it was about tapping into them, getting them on the side, and it's the trust thing. One thing kids don't want to know is about trust, and make sure that key thing that I've learned is to be a man of your word. So if you tell a kid, if you tell a kid, listen, I'm going to buy you this, make sure you do that. You know, if you know that you can't, then say there's a possibility. Tell them. You know what I mean? Once you do that, then, because kids, one thing I've learned with working with children is that they do like boundaries, because in that way they feel safe. You know, they know, okay, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. You know, and from doing that, and it helped to kind of read my profile, so to speak, within the school. And then there's one new head that came in, and they wanted me to do head of year. You know what I mean? Be responsible for 100 hadn't done it before and so forth, but they saw how I was with the children and the trust. You know, so basically being that parent, being that daddy to these kids. You know,
because what it was, I think he was deputy first, isn't it? And then
that's correct.
The I think the lady.
Yeah, she was leaving anyway. So you know, I was doing deputy, and then I just took over the year group and stayed within the key stage 4. You know, which some people might think that's quite tricky, that age group, which is like, you know, 14 to 16 sort of age group. And you know, that was probably one of my most, up to this date, it's probably my most joyful experiences.
And this is where my point comes in.
Yeah.
I personally, as long as I've known you, I've only just hearing your other less rest of your journey, but I think for me that was the making of you. Because I saw, when I got there, I go, okay, you're doing your thing, whatever. But as soon as you touched that job, you was just motivated. Like you had like a thing in your eye, and it was nothing. If I asked you to do something, say I was teaching a class and the kid was acting up, there was nothing too big that you wouldn't go and sort out and whatever. And I think, and you know, even that year you did the prom. We were talking about it the other day. Like, I personally don't think that there's ever been a better prom than that. And the amount of shenanigans you had to go to get that. Do you know what I mean?
Mate.
But you want to speak on your time being the head of year?
Yeah, I think that experience was because I just saw it. For me, it's, people say, "Oh, you was a head of year," and I saw it in a family setting. I had 155 kids. I don't remember the number that I was responsible for, and I saw as me basically being the daddy to these kids. These kids are mine, and these parents have entrusted them in my care to make sure that they not just, it wasn't a case of just behaving themselves, it's make sure that they got the right attainment. You know, it's only the other day that one parent came in and said, "Oh, Mr. Webb, Troy De Silva was in my year, and he got a first in his university," and that's, you know what I mean, that for me was just tremendous. And like, I could see some of these kids now, some of them become parents themselves before even myself. That's mad. But you know, and to see the appreciation that they give to you, you know what I mean? I think that transcends any type of money and so forth, you know, because the impact that you put on these individuals in your life. So like, you know, I'll be walking down the road or I'm driving, "Oh, Mr. Webb," and I'm still getting called by that as opposed to my first name, or is that guy or whatever. You know,
is that idiot?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So it's that respect there, and I think, you know, pushing them onto that journey and pushing them to try and be the best that they can, you know, try and get the best grade that they can, you know, and then during that time, I was able, you know what I mean, I do assemblies with them and speak to them about different scenarios and experiences and so forth, and why they need to focus and so forth.
And you had a hard year group, like, to focus as well.
That's right.
A very hard year group. It weren't easy. Some of them weren't easy, man.
I tell you, definitely. You know, so that for me was like, it was like paramount. And I used to say to them, it was a saying I used to say to them, which was, the game hasn't changed, but the players are different. And it's funny, even up to this day, some of them still come up to me and quote it, and I'm thinking, see, that for me, if it's just that one little thing they've taken away, that for me is enough, you know? So something that's going to resonate with them as they get older, you know? Because the players are different, but the game's still the same. And that for me is, I know, just a quote, it's just, you know, and when I say that, the game hasn't changed, but the players are different. It's just that it's like education. No matter what type of individuals come through from year 7 going up, it's always going to be different interfaces. But education is so key. And it's always going to be what's needed and necessary. And so, you know, when it came to graduation, and I make sure to try and do my best. And it wasn't one thing you can say. I know you might say, "Oh, I did my best," but it wasn't just me, because one person can't do everything. So you had your form tutors, you had people around yourselves. You know, I mean, we had the right type of, you could say, family environment, where the kids felt they were happy to come to school. I was happy to come to school. You know, and I think, you get up in the morning, you're happy. That's the best thing. Happy to go to your work, you know, because I was doing whatever, you know. Sometimes you didn't know what was going to happen. Sometimes, you know, one kid messed up some wall, or one kid was rude to a teacher, but he sorted out that situation. I get that kid, you know, so you're going to apologise, etc. This is the reason why, because this is wrong. And they're taking that understanding in it, because they trust in you. So when you get annoyed at them, that was what I experienced. When I got annoyed at them and upset with them, they didn't react to them again. They knew they had crossed the line. You know what I mean?
Because you were fair with them.
Because I was fair with them. You know what I mean? Because most of the time I'm talking to them in a reasonable level, but sometimes you have to, you know?
Yeah, trust me.
You know what I mean? I will never, there was one thing I will never forget at school was, it was lunchtime. Lunch had finished. And I think it was nearing, I don't know if it was nearing GCSEs or whatever. And lunch had finished, and about 20 of them decided, we're not going to go into lessons. We're going to run around the building. Do you know what I mean? So obviously I was upset. So what? So I'm walking around, and then they were telling me, after the matter, they were telling me how they were messaging each other saying, Mr. Webb's coming up the first floor, Mr. And I remember when they did eventually get to their lessons and so forth, I kind of lost it a little bit and went to their lesson and told them, I want to see you lot in the hall upstairs on Friday, because it was a Friday morning, and they were all quiet, you know. I went to each lesson, they were all quiet, no one really said nothing. But I'm a kind of person that, you know, that will happen, but then I'll reflect and calm down and so forth and move on. That's how I'm like in relationship. I have an argument, you know what I mean, 2 hours later I'm fine, you know what I mean. And the next day obviously slipped, whatever, came into, I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. And then like some of the kids are so waiting for you. What are you talking about? For what? So they were the whole year group was upstairs on the 3rd floor hall waiting for me, because what I'd said to them the day before. And that for me was quite impressionable, you know what I mean? Because there was a respect there. You know what I mean? They knew it crossed the line and so forth. And I just spoke to them and just said, listen, I wasn't impressed, etc. and so forth, you know? And that's why I knew then that I definitely had them. So that's why I pushed for them, their graduation and prom, and make sure it's going to be a prom for them to remember. You know, I remember doing a survey and I was saying, what do you want? And they said, do you want a masquerade? And they said, I want a masquerade. It's got all the props and the this and the that, you know what I mean? And then the gem thing was to see them all turn out, come in their little dresses, come in their suits. So look at my suit's better than yours. I love that. They want to come to me telling me, my suit's better than, you know what I mean? Because that means that's their thought progress. Not like, I'm getting these trains or this and that. They all came, turned out and everything, you know what I mean? And then at that prom, everybody had a good time. And it wasn't like, teacher was there chaperone. Everybody was involved in one dance together. Teachers, students doing a little candy or whatever. And I mean, did a prom king and queen. And that was, you know, that was this, I will never forget that. It was 2014 year. Even though I did obviously stay and do other heads of year and so forth, that group was definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, they help shape you as a person, as an individual. Because sometimes working in a school, it can be a minefield where, you know, people are not as, and this is